Hello and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Snehi Shah. And this is the show where we take you through all the stocks that are in focus today, either on the back of news flow or on the back of technical charts. But first, let's take stock of how the markets are panning out. A very volatile day of trade coming in, Snehi. In fact, Nifty is failing to hold on to the positive territory. It has slipped below the 23,500 levels. In fact, India VIX has also shot up 4%. In fact, it was up 7% in the morning. So a lot of volatility in the market.
Lots of volatility, that's for sure. Markets seem to be rather flat. They were rather flat around, let's say, 30 minutes or 1 hour ago. Right now, under some selling pressure coming in, 0.3% lower is where the Nifty is. Sensex also just in tandem with the Nifty, 0.3% cut coming over there. India VIX, like Ankita mentioned, 4% higher at 15.42 is where India VIX is at right now. If you take a look at the broader markets, however, Nifty mid-cap seems to be holding on to some strength coming in, a slight bit of a green coming in on that front. However, Nifty small cap is also in the red, 1 or 0.2% cut, 1/10 of a cut coming in on Nifty small cap as well. If you take a look at some individual stock gainers and losers that have been aiding the Nifty today, first of all, gainers, Hindalco, Hero Moto, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Adani Ports. In fact, the entire metal pack is doing pretty well in today's trade. However, on the flip side, what's not doing well for the Nifty is TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Trent, BPCL. Quickly taking you through what the sectoral indices are doing. Nifty Metal, your top gainer, followed by Realty, Auto, FMCG. Both PSU banks and Nifty Bank are in the green, along with financial services. What's not doing well? Nifty IT, Energy, Media, Pharma. These are the four sectors that are in the red. However, largely, it looks to be a balanced day of trade coming in, since most of the sectors are in the green, but this is what the market is looking like right now.
All right, let's move on then and look at the individual stock movers in the back of news flow or technicals. And for that, we're joined by Vaishali Parekh, the Vice President of Technical Research, Prabhudas Lilladher, joining us on the technicals. And from our research team, we are joined by Ria. Hi, good afternoon to both of you, and thank you so much for joining us today. Well, let's get started with all the stocks that are in focus today. And like Snehi mentioned, the mid-cap is outperforming definitely, and a bit of a breather coming in the mid-cap. And Muthoot Finance is the top mid-cap gainer right now, and it is on the back of good set of results that came in for the company. Let's look at the results then. The NIIs are up 37% on a year-on-year basis. The PPOP are up 43.2%. The PAT saw an uptick of 20% at 1,272 crores. The standalone AUM has crossed the milestone of 90,000 crores, while the consolidated AUM has crossed the milestone of 1 lakh crores during first half of FY25. Now, the AUM is up 31%, which is the highest ever standalone loan AUM. The gold loan AUM is up 28%, which is the highest ever gold loan AUM. Also, the GNPA came in slightly higher at 4.3% versus 3.9% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And that's specifically because the company gave more time to customers to repay their loans instead of auctioning the gold collateral, which has led to an increase in the GNPA. Also, from the con-call highlights, the management has highlighted that they have revised the gold loan growth guidance to 25% plus versus the 15% earlier. Morgan Stanley also came out with a note, and they're maintaining an upgrade to equal weight from underweight and hike the target price to 1,600 rupees on Muthoot Finance, soaring away in trade with gains of 8%.
Okay, so that's a stock that's doing pretty well in trade today. But Vaishali, coming to you, you picked out JSPL on the charts, Jindal Steel and Power. If I take a look at the last 6 months, ever since then the stock has been consolidating quite a bit. Last 6 months also, 16.5% lower return is where the stock has given. So now, do you believe it's a good time for the stock to reverse? Can we expect some reversal, and now can we expect some positive moves coming in from the stock?
Hi, very good afternoon, all of you. So I think overall, as we see that metal sector has now started showing signs of reversal, however, too early to say. But Jindal Steel and Power, I think it's done with its one round of corrective move, and 850, 860 acts as a very crucial support level. And currently it's at 895. So I would say not in a hurry, but good levels to start accumulating, because once the stock moves above 920, this could be ready for a target of 960, 980 and so on. So yes, I think trying to bounce back from its oversold zone also, so good levels to start accumulating.
Okay, so start accumulating is the call coming in from Vaishali on JSPL. Let's move on, talk about a stock that's beaten away in trade today, locked in lower circuit of 20% ever since the opening bell, and that's Ola Consumer on the back of two reasons. One, very weak set of quarter two numbers, And second is the management commentary has also been rather on the more cautious side coming in. On the numbers front, revenue has come in at 418 crores versus 460 crores, which is down 9.3% year over year. This time they've logged in an EBITDA loss of 29 crores compared to an EBITDA of 46 crores last year. And also this is their first net loss of 18.5 crores. So first net loss coming in 5 quarters versus a profit of 29.4 crores this time last year. From the con call highlights, what's spooked the street is Varun Alagh has said that they need to rethink strategy in 4 to 5 key areas. They've seen a higher than expected inventory correction, and on the back of this, the numbers have taken a hit. If you take a look at the financial implications of this, this led to an inventory impact of 63 crores and 70% loss in gross margin as well. Just quickly taking a look at what Goldman Sachs is making of these numbers. They've downgraded the stock to a neutral from a buy rating, also cut the target price to 375 from 570 earlier. JP Morgan also maintained underweight, target price cut to 330. So big cuts coming in, stock locked in lower circuit of 20%. That's Finasa Consumer today.
All right, and as shares of Finasa Consumers have plunged 20% after, of course, the company reported its first loss in 5 quarters, founder Varun Alagh has highlighted the need to rethink select business strategies, and we also caught up with some of the experts to make sense of the nosedive in the stock price. Elara Capital's Karan Thorani believes that the valuations stand to be challenged amid the current environment of uncertainty. Let's go across and take a look.
In these kind of times where both the distribution mechanism and the competition is uncertain, I think the valuations can be challenged, right? So, of course, after the fall, one would say that the valuations are low and unattractive. But unless we don't see any momentum pickup in terms of business or any respite in terms of increased profitability or any triggers therein, valuations are going to be tough, to move on from here on. Quick commerce already is a very disruptive distribution mechanism, and I think we are clearly seeing pressure wherein quick commerce players have also got like a huge cash pile on their books right now, and because of increased competitive intensity, we may see that in the near term you will see higher amount of discounting, which will somewhere put pressure on the players in the form of discounting or in terms of giving higher take rates to the quick commerce platforms, because bargaining power somewhere is more heavier on the platform side and not on the brand side somewhere, at least for now.
Well, all right, on that note, we'll slip into a short breather on this edition of Market Fatafat. We'll be right back with more buzzing stocks on the other side. You stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat, where we are taking you through all the stocks that are buzzing away in trade. Coming to Riyadh, speaking of the buzzers, Metal Pack is shining away in trade. In fact, it's trading with gains of 3.5% right now. Hindalco, Vedanta, and MDC, Tata Steel, all of them are in focus today on the back of a news flow that's come in from China. Tell us what the news flow is and why are these stocks buzzing?
Yes, absolutely. So metal stocks have surged in trade today as China has said that it is going to cancel the export tax rebates effective from the 1st of December on aluminum and copper. Now, China is making its aluminum exports less competitive, and China's exports are expected to come down on the back of this. Now, why has China done this? So, overcapacity concerns have grown among global trading partners, and China has been under criticism for some of its trade practices. And as a result of this move from China, aluminum prices have surged 5.5% on Friday on the London Metal Exchange, or the LME, which was the biggest jump in over a year on the LME aluminum. We've not seen a big reaction in the LME copper prices, but still up around 0.5% on Friday's close. Now, this is positive for Indian aluminum producing companies like Hindalco, Nalco, and Vedanta, all of which are up around 5 to 4% right now in trade. Nalco is outperforming, up around 11.5% in trade right now, but this can be negative for aluminum consuming companies like auto, construction, and packaging companies. So keeping an eye out on all of these stocks today.
Okay, Riya, thanks for taking us through that. The entire metal pack is shining bright. But Vaishali, you also picked out one name from this metal pack, and that's Hindalco. Now, if I take a look at the charts, last 1 year, 30% return. But ever since then, in fact, last 6 months, the stock has been consolidating. So what's your outlook on this stock going ahead, and what are the levels we can watch out for?
I would say Hindalco, well, if you just take the near-term history, it's corrected right from 765 to now around 660. I guess it's done with major corrective move, and from here on, it's good level to start accumulating, because once we see metal sector stabilizing and continuing with its upward move, this can give us a good upside potential. So I would say 630 would act as a good support, and then near-term target would be around 700 for now.
Alright, moving on from Hindalco to another counter that's in focus today, and that's Delivery. That it reported its Q2 numbers. In fact, the shares rallied nearly 4% in the early trade today. After it reported a net profit for the second quarter in a row. Now, Delivery shares gained as much as, like I said, 4% in morning's trade, which has given up those gains. But let's look at the report card then. It has reported a consolidated net profit of 10 crores in the second quarter, as against a loss of 103 crores in the year ago period. Also, the company's profit declined 81% from 54 crores in the June quarter on a sequential basis. That is, the consolidated revenue from operations for Q2 increased 13% to 2,190 crores. Also, the revenue grew 0.8% from 2,172 crores reported in the Q1. That is on the sequential basis. Also, the PTL revenue for Q2 grew 27% on a year-on-year basis, and the volumes also rose 23% on a year-on-year basis. The supply chain services revenue also rose 21% on a year-on-year basis to 1,907 crores. Nuvama has upgraded the stock to buy rating, but they have cut the December 2025 target price to 400 apiece from an earlier 473 earlier, and on the back of that, Delivery is in focus today.
Okay, so Delivery in focus, we're currently trading rather flat. Let's move on. And Vaishali, you picked out Tata Power on the charts. Now, last 1 year, more than 50% return is what the stock has given. Do you expect this momentum to sustain, given that the stock has been correcting lately, and what are the levels that you will be spotting here?
Tata Power also long-term trend is very intact, and after this corrective move that we witnessed, 390 on technical levels acts as a very crucial support, and that's what we saw last week. It did come close to those levels, and from here on we are seeing a bounce. So I think my view stands positive. 390 would act as a very good support, because we've seen, if you see the chart, there is number of times that this support has been respected. So I guess this makes it a good buying opportunity to buy at these levels, and then perhaps look for 450 to 480.
Okay, so good opportunity to buy at these levels is the call coming for Tata Power. Before we move on, just addressing the flash, it seems to be a continuation of these order wins coming in for RVNL. 295 crore project from the South Central Railways is what the company has backed. The stock is still under pressure, not yet reflecting this order win, but we'll check in on the stock again in a bit. But on that note, let's slip into a very short break, and we'll be right back with more stocks on the other side.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.